called me expressing some concerns about the quality of the two contracts that were presented to her, where basically the Shoreline Players contract looked like it had been a rewrite of a contract in the past where maybe the organization had been the government organization had been the one that leasing a location or a piece of property, and now in this particular case with Oscoda Township, it's in the opposite situation. We're actually the lessor leasing some other piece of property, and it looked like there was a number of instances where the language between lessee and lessor hadn't been properly switched, and at one point she had to discover just at the last minute today, when she was rereading it all again, that we were setting ourselves up to pay their utility bills, which was really kind of preposterous. So I was really voicing my concern about the contracts that we're presenting to vendors and asking that people be aware of this. And Mr. Freel, please have your paralegal, pay more attention to this so that we don't have this issue and basically push the onerous, the responsibility onto the vendors to write our contracts.
Yeah, Tim, I was going to ask you what when you made reference to my paralegal, what were you talking about?
Somebody's writing the contract. If you or somebody who might be working for you, and I'm just saying we just needed to tighten that up a bit because it sounded like we were making our vendors do the work that you're being expected to do.
What? Are you talking about the Shoreline Player Lease Agreement?
Yes, and the MIC TV agreement as well.
No, okay. So to be clear on that, geez, and let me just say, it'd be nice to have fair warning, before the ambush, since this isn't supposed to be a war. But with regard to both the MICTV contracts and the Shoreline ones, I mean, I had been in thorough communication with the township office on that. And I had put a couple of drafts out weeks ago. And I just got a red line, quote unquote, version from the Shorelines Friday night. Just so you know, I mean, as is often the case, I'm working weekends and Sundays, and I got this back. There was I tried to use what was given to me initially by the Shoreline Players in the context of the lease. There's the Zoom MICTV contract, that's one thing, going hand in hand with a bunch of mutual players there with the Shoreline Players lease. There was one sentence, I think it was in paragraph 2 or 3, where it talked about utility obligations. And it was, my paralegal has nothing to do with it, or my legal assistant. I do all of this myself, and she never saw it, and it was changed immediately. But the turnover time, this is where I'm really surprised at what's happened tonight. The turnover time has been all but instantaneous on the things that others are complaining about. That, like Tammy indicated, was taken care of right away. So just so you know, there's a lot more to it. I mean, 2 weeks ago, or more than that, I was out in Portland, Oregon, working on this with the MICTV agreement when I had been given a draft of what was used before, before we went to the Zoom era, and now on a new premises, no less, and we're doing this, doing this quote versus that quote and all that. So just so you know, I mean, if anybody's interested in my angle on this, I'm more than willing to share it. This is the first time and the first forum in which I've been even asked about it, but that was relatively immediately addressed.